So what's good, everyone? Trade recap. So we took a trade today, took a short position on ES. Unfortunately, we were not able to take this on live just because I had to go take my roommate his computer. So I was able to place this literally like in my car before leaving to take him his computer. So that being said, let's go and get down into the breakdown of this trade. By the way, we couldn't take the trade on Intel today just due to the fact that, again, I was about to leave whenever I took the trade on ES, so I wasn't looking at Intel that much. Plus, we already came up and pushed above our quote-unquote kill zone, so taking us short from this position, I wasn't really wanting to do. But now, since market is pretty much tanking, as you could tell, just all red if we look at the heat map for the day. All red. This past week has been a little bit of a kind of shitty week in order to trade. This trade setup that we did take, especially for shorting the market, I was just willing to take just because the market has just been shit. So let's go ahead and go through the trade. Let's actually just remove all of this and let's go and do it from the beginning to the motherfucking end, shall we? 9:30. Cool. All right. So we already know, as per normal, we will always mark out our draws on liquidity. All right. We have a 4-hour high sitting within here. Cool. We're going to mark this out as the 4-hour high so you guys can see this breakdown by breakdown. 4-hour low sitting within here. Cool. Go down to the hourly. All right. What are we doing? Marking out our same draws on liquidity. Hourly highs, hourly lows, right? We have an hourly high sitting within here. We have an hourly high sitting within here. And hourly lows were already taken out literally at 8 o'clock. So I didn't give a fuck about them. All we had left were these 4-hour lows, but we also made new hourly lows, which I will mark out here in a minute after I show where our entry point was. Cool. So what are we doing? Hands on our ass. We're just waiting till we see a liquidity sweep, and then we see other confluences add up after that. What happens? We get this liquidity sweep at 9:30. Cool. What are we waiting for? Either a simple move down and a move back up, or a inverse fair value gap. What do we have within here is we had our quote unquote kill zone that got made, that 5-minute high. Actually make that yellow. Cool. What happens is we also inverse this fair value gap on the 5-minute, right? We got this fair value gap sitting within here. We inverse this fair value gap at 9:45. Now, we have to take into consideration that there was news coming out at 10. So we really couldn't take a trade until after 10. And the news amount that we had for today was so much red folder news that it's not even funny. So we had to wait till 10 in order to place this trade. Cool. So after we had that inverse fair value gap on the 5-minute, we were already within this downtrend, right? But we still couldn't take a trade until the 10 o'clock, until after the 10 o'clock candle, right? On the 5-minute, also, we had this retracement at 9:50. So that was even a better sign that we had a retracement and we had an inverse fair value gap. Cool. Even though we were already within this downtrend on the 1-minute, I still want to see another 1-minute break to the downside with another third confluence. And we did get that. We got that break sitting right here. I'm going to mark this line out as black. Boop. We got that break sitting right here at 9:56. So a couple minutes before the 10 o'clock news. What do we form right after we had that break? We had this breaker block sitting within here. And we also had an order block that started from this candle all the way up to these highs. So well, actually, right all the way up to this high, because this candle here was not a blue candle. This was just a price closed and open and closed at the same spot. So this would be our order block sitting within here. Cool. And we also formed a couple of imbalances with this fair value gap sitting within here on the 1-minute. Cool. So what are we waiting for? We're just waiting simply for price to push up into one of our confluences and then have bearish order flow out of that bitch. What happened is price came up. We completely filled in this fair value gap within here. So we take that bitch off our screen, right? We also came and we made equilibrium. And let us not forget that we also had breaker block and an order block. What happened? Price tapped into the breaker block, into the fair value gap, and into the order block, and into equilibrium. And then we had bearish order flow out of that bitch. And we still had to wait till the 10 o'clock candle. So as soon as I saw we closed out bearish on the 10 o'clock, I entered in next candle over. So we entered in right here. My stop we're sitting right above these 1 minute highs, and our take profits were these 4-hour lows, and then we also had hourly lows within here. These hourly lows, the ones that I told you I was going to mark out. We'll make these yellow so you guys can see this, not by color code, or actually by color code. Cool. Our stocks are above these 1 minute highs. Take profits were these hourly lows and these 4-hour lows, and all take profits got hit. Now, what I could have done better is I could have placed my stop loss just a little bit tighter. I could have placed my stops above the candle that started that first fair value gap that we saw within here. But since we already filled it, and even though we pushed into the breaker block and into the order block and into equilibrium and had bearishness out of it, I still placed my stops above that 1 minute high sitting within here. So my stop loss was a little bit big for this trade, which I could have done better on. I could have had it a nicer risk reward. Instead of having a risk reward of 1 to 5, I could have had a risk reward to 3 to 2. But instead it was just more of, I kind of wanted to see what price would do, just because the new tariffs, etc., and news came out. I wanted to see what price would do, so I gave price a little bit of a wiggle room in order to just work its magic, I guess. But we could have placed our stops a little bit tighter, so we're gonna write that down, journal that down. But all in all, it was a solid trade. We did wait for a bunch of confirmations. I wish the market wasn't shitting and tanking as much as it is, but unfortunately, it is shitting and tanking just because new tariffs, and it's just crazy motherfucking times, people. Crazy motherfucking times. But either ways, we obeyed the rules, obeyed our risk management. All in all, solid trade. If you guys want to trade today, awesome shit. If you guys lost it, I'm sorry. I will not be live streamed for a little bit, just because we were packing up everything and moving home. So that being said, this is probably going to be the last little bit of a recap that we have, just for a couple of days, until I'm settled back at home and we can start doing the live streams, etc. again. So that being said, I'll see you guys all in the next live stream or the next trade recap. Deuces.